So we're talking about the industrialisation of around about 100 acres of valuable farmland just south of Loxwood village itself. If we take this map, you can see the North Hall at the top going through the Loxwood village south. We move further south towards Round Street Common. We have a zone here where the proposed Loxwood and Wisborough Green solar farm, if it gains acceptance from Chichester Council, will be built. Zooming in a little bit further, we can see a bit more detail around the Loxwood Joust area just south of Drundrick Kennels. And again, what we're looking at here is an area around the Malham Farm zone of Round Street Common. If we just change the view of that to superimpose the 6 individual parcels of land which will be developed on to give the solar panels, they're the areas in the dark blue colour. We've also got the red zones where the cabling will go to connect the different solar parks within the 100 acres zone. Looking at the zone here that's on Drundrick Lane, the largest zone, about 26 acres, you'll see on there the coding which shows the cabling in red around it, but also the black lines interspersed by little black dots with a maintenance track going through the middle of it, and the red lines parallel to Drundrick Lane itself in the south, which are the new access roads to be built to provide maintenance traffic into this field. What that field looks like now, and then an artist impression of what it could look like with the deer fencing, the CCTV cameras and the solar panels themselves. I think the actual application looks to show 2 to 3 metre tall panels. These are much smaller in this picture. Drundrick Lane itself, if you don't know it, is a very quiet rural lane, single track road, used extensively by cyclists and horse riders to enjoy the beautiful Sussex countryside, and has designated wildlife verges. So a very narrow lane just south of Loxwood. We're very lucky to have many beautiful species of animals in the area. Some very important protected species, the skylarks, the yellowhammers, and very importantly, we've got the Bechstein and Barbastell bats who use the area for foraging. They're a European protected species. And we have great crested newts as well. So a little image there of the lane with some of the images of the different wildlife we have. One of the key aspects of the development is the construction phase. The developers are talking about that being a 24-week period, and that construction phase is going to include traffic, both HGV and smaller construction vehicles, moving from the Newbridge area, from Billingshurst, up through the main road past the Bat and Ball pub and Bellman's auction house, to then access into Drundrick Lane. And the image you can see there is the red extent of the different areas that are going to host the solar farm in the development area. So a lot more congestion on the roads. In fact, there are 1,094 two-way HGV movements that are predicted for this construction. And what the developers are saying they're going to have to do is widen that area of Drundrick Lane. That's where the side of the protected area for the species was, and really cause a problem for a lot of our vulnerable road users. The HGVs will present a real danger to, in particular, the horse riders out there. When we look at the lane, again from the developer, suggesting in that very narrow stretch of road coming off the B2133, we'll have a number of passing places built during the widening process of the route. Those who know the area will know that we do have a number of traffic problems. Certainly if there's an issue on Newbridge itself or fallen trees in Loxwood, then Drundrick Lane itself is used as a bit of a cut through to bypass those main routes. Only last week we witnessed exactly that. This is a photograph exactly where we're looking to build the access routes into the solar farm, and that'll give you an idea for you horse users or cyclists out there just how wide the road is if you were met with HGVs. Another key concern is that of flooding. We are in a flood zone risk 3 in the area, and as you should know, with any development on land, that will increase the likelihood of flooding. Just recently, if we actually have a look at the lane itself and the runoff from where the fields is, you can see the effect of just heavy rainfall has on the area and the runoff of water into Drundrick Lane. Coming back to our horse riders, there is a significant impact on the bridleways, not only during the construction phase, but also afterwards, while we've got maintenance vehicles coming there to wash the panels down and maintain them. Looking at a map showing those bridle routes, you can see that the Malham Farm area and Drundrick Lane is a bit of a hub for all the interconnecting bridleways that come from Wisborough Green, going through to Drundwick and further west and east. We can see there's an awful lot of individual bridleways. If we superimpose the development area on top of those bridleways, you can see the impact that the developments have, the cabling has, on the individual bridleways. In fact, where the new roads are to be built, parallel to Drundrick Lane, bridleway 8051 that you can see in the top left-hand corner will undoubtedly need to be closed during the construction phase. There's also bridleway 1330 going across the middle, which has an awful lot of cabling going down it for access to all the different areas. So horse riders who would hope to have used bridleway 805 will need to instead divert down the B2133 to find an alternative route. Again, if you know of that road, you'll know that it's not safe at all for horse riders. So a real worry for us in this area about endangering our horse riders and other vulnerable riders. In fact, the local economy relies an awful lot on those horse users. A lot of money goes into the local economy to vets and farriers, animal feed specialists in the area, and clothing companies. So, we really don't want to do anything that upsets and puts off, in particular, visitors to the area from using our roads. It's, those visitors, those tourists, just as much as local people that make use of those bridleways. Just coming on to another hugely important area here, and that is that of food security. What we're looking at here is tracts of land being taken over for solar farms instead of being used for agriculture. Now we live in dangerous times. Not that long ago, we thought the world was a nice, safe place. We could rely on Russian gas. Who knows what the next 10 years looks like? One of the banners that we're using for this petition is farms for food, not for solar. There are much better places to put solar than on agricultural land. And let's not forget about those workers on the agricultural land. Their jobs in jeopardy, from the tractor drivers, the people doing the harvesting, sowing the seeds, being transformed into the foreign companies in the east building the solar farms, and people coming in to keep them clean from dirt. I mentioned before about our visitors, again hugely important to the area. We want to maintain the beautiful countryside that we have. It's not just us protesting against the development. We've got full support, strong objections from Loxwood and Wisborough Green parish councils to this proposed development. Taking the objections that Loxwood raised, strong objections, the need to tanker water into the site, causing harm to the landscape, and in particular worried about the safety to our walkers, cyclists and horse riders. And again, them making the point that this is high-grade agricultural land that is being proposed. And it conflicts with the Loxwood neighbourhood plan. We know, solar is important, and we're all in favour of renewable energy. We need to see a greener world. But solar can be done an awful lot better than this. Look at all the rooftops that we can use. In Switzerland, we're putting solar panels on railway tracks. Wind turbines are a much more efficient way of gaining a green energy credential. So, let's look at the alternatives for solar. The urgency here is that Chichester Planning Committee are meeting very soon to consider this development. So, we're reaching out to the community to sign the permission, join the Facebook group. There's a lot more information in there. The petition, we can click on the QR codes to get into change.org. No money needs to be donated. This is just a show of support. The QR codes for Facebook, enabling you to join the group and learn more about what's happening, the impact on the bridleways. Our key thing that we want really is for our community to band together, because once this green space is gone, it really has gone for good. So please help. One of the biggest things you can do is to email and launch a formal objection to Chichester District Council by going on their planning portal and looking for reference 2500658 full, and looking at all the details there and using their portal to lodge an objection, or just simply emailing dcplanning@chichester.gov.uk with your full name and address and a short reason why you're objecting. So thank you for listening.